All right, back in the basement again to update you guys on this meet prep I'm doing using the Juggernaut AI app for a USAPL meet on May 1st. I just completed week 7, and I have a little bit of apologizing to do. If you've been following along in this series, I said this week I was going to talk about accessory work, and I still am, but truth be told, I got really busy at work, which means all my training got pushed to the evenings, which having 2 young kids and a family life and other stuff on top of that really crunched for time, so actually didn't end up doing a lot of accessory work, but I just want to talk about that briefly, which I'll get to in a minute. First, what I want to talk about is just my week in general, which overall I think went very, very well, despite some stupidity by my part. And I say that because on day 1, coming off a deload, I had a top squat of a set of 3 at 535 pounds, which for me is a pretty good and heavy amount. Right now I'm working off a training max, I think of around 600 pounds, so that's pretty high percentage-wise and intensity-wise. However, the mistake I made was I actually was looking at a week in advance. I was looking at my week 8 day 1 day for some reason. I think I was trying to line up some other stuff that's going on behind the scenes, which you guys will hear about later. But I was looking at my training just to see what I was doing that week, and I forgot to switch it back. So what I ended up doing was my week 8 training, which ended up being a pretty decently heavy set. So I did a set of 3, 535. I rated it an 8.5. And I was feeling it the rest of the week because there was a lot of volume past that point. And it wasn't until later that I noticed it. I talked to Chad about this. He said, on your actual week 8 day, just aim for like some RPE 7 work, which is just what I just did, and you guys will see in the video coming up. But day 1 overall went pretty good. Day 2 I skip over because that's really just a bunch of accessories. And again, I'll talk accessories in a second. My day 3, my deadlift day, top set of 545 for 2, rated it at a 7.5. Felt pretty good despite, again, the fact that I was feeling some of those DOMs from that Monday session. And some good points come up of the last video when we talked about a deload. Some people asked, can I skip a deload? And I think it was actually Chad who chimed in that said you can definitely skip deloads on this program, but what you'll find is you'll experience more DOMs coming back and getting used to the programming again. And even though I didn't skip my deload, I do think, again, jumping a week ahead and not really being ready for it definitely set me back just a little bit, but I'm feeling good this week. So that 545 for 2 went pretty good. And then finally on day 4, top set of bench was 280 for a set of 3 at an RPE 7.5. And my bench has been feeling really good lately. I feel like I've been making good progress on it. I feel like I've been pausing a little bit more, controlling the bench work some more. Haven't done anything over 300 in quite a while, but I think the work that I'm doing now, hopefully, is setting the foundation for increasing my 1 rep max on bench, which I think I'm working off of a lift of like 320 or 325 from my last meet. So overall, the week was very much a success in my opinion. So let's switch gears just a little bit. Let's talk about accessory work with this program. If you're not familiar with the program at all, when you first sign up and put in for a program cycle, what you're going to do is you're going to specify your comp lift. So high bar or low bar squat, sumo or conventional. And you're also going to talk about where you think your sticking points are with all these movements. So like, are you sticking right off the floor on deadlift? Are you sticking right off of the hole in squats? Are you sticking at lockout for bench? And what the program does is it takes all that data that you're inputting it and it creates a program for you. And again, most of that program is based around squatting, benching, and deadlifting in your competition style stances. And then what it does is it has variations past that point. So like, for example, if I take a look at some of my deadlift day work, I have a comp deadlift as my main movement. I also have comp bench, which you can switch out some. In some cases, the best prescription for better work on some movements like bench, especially where a lot of people respond well to volume, is just more frequency on that specific movement. But then I have like a pause squat because I said I typically miss my squats right out of the hole. If I take a look at some of these other days, I have variations of deadlift, like a deficit deadlift, because again, I put my missing point as traditionally off the floor. I also have stuff like paused high bar squats. I had wide grip benches. So again, how the program works is it does your main movements first, then it does variations based off of your weak points, and then it asks you what you want to do for some of your accessory work. So in most cases, this is going to be for back, shoulders, triceps, biceps, and posterior chain. So ab work as well, but who does ab work anyway, right? So what you then do is after it gives you those set things defined based off of what your inputs are, you do have some customization based off of that. And that being said, you have customization on anything. If you want to switch out your comp movement for the day for something completely different, you could. Obviously, the program's going to give you suggestions based off what's most similar and depending on which equipment you have available. But literally, you could change every exercise every day to a curling movement if you really wanted to do so. But you really have some variety in as far as accessories go. So selecting back, shoulders, triceps, biceps, abs, posterior chain. You could go ahead and do this the smart way, which is base it off of your weak points or things that you want to give extra work, which is fair and well. And I do that in some cases, but truth be told, the way that I select my accessories on this program is really based off of convenience and how much I can actually get done in a given time, which I guess plays into convenience as well. What I mean by that is if it's an accessory movement where I am going to have to set up a barbell and certain things with maybe spotter hooks, like let's say for instance, barbell hip thrust, that takes me a long time to set up, and it's kind of annoying to work up to the weight that I want to do. So I traditionally don't do that because by the point I get to my accessories in this program, I'm running short on time and I want to get things done. So the ease of setting up the exercise is of utmost importance to me. That's why oftentimes I'll rely on the dumbbells behind me. You can also kind of see that cable machine I have behind me as well. I have some other machines for legs like the leg extension, leg curl, glute ham raise. Those things are very easy because they require little, if any, setup at all. And the other thing about convenience, about how long I can get things done in, is meaning how often can I superset those movements in together? So how are they contrasting? Meaning oftentimes what I'll do is if I have a back movement, I'll do that, and then I'll superset that in with a hamstring movement and a quad movement as well. So I'm basically doing 3 exercises in a circuit style training to expedite the process again. But worst case scenario, if I can't do them, I just skip them. I try not to skip the accessories if I don't have to, but point I made last week, I just didn't have time and they got cut. Is it going to hinder my long-term progress? Probably not. But you just want to try to do those if you can, and that's why I feel like selecting things that are easy to set up and take down and super easy to superset together without really gassing you is the best way to do it because it lets you really blow through them. And in most cases, they're only prescribed at an RPE 6 or 7, so they shouldn't be overly taxing anyways. So my apologies about not showing you more, but literally I just didn't do them for the reasons I just mentioned last week. I'll try to get some more videos for you soon, but hopefully you guys are enjoying the progress of this actual meet prep. If you have any specific questions, things you want me to cover, please do. I appreciate you guys taking a look at these videos because I know they're not very exciting, just watching me lift in my basement and talk about my own training. So I'm curious to know how your training is. Let me know in the comment section below. In the meantime, as always, thanks for watching and stay big.